Okay, we'll continue. Occupational health and safety considerations, module 5, and in this is the second session. Okay, today we'll deal with how to handle the wastewater handling of chemical and safety measures in wastewater treatment plants and labs. Chemicals play an important role in many aspects of water treatment. Treatments operations fall under many specific regulations that apply to personnel, all site personnel. Developing written facilities safety guidelines that are specific to the work site is critical for compliances. Training and enforcing the safety procedures and processes are critical to employee safety. So in this session we'll handle the how to handle the safety measures in wastewater treatment plants and labs. Since chemicals play an important role in the wastewater treatment, so its specification and the regulations it is implied to all the persons of that site personally, and to we should have a written safety guidelines uh, that are specific to work site and which is specific to the work site, which are critical and compliances. Training and safety procedures processes a critical employee safety. I mean, this plays an important role for the employee safety. Common chemicals used in water treatment: chlorine as a gas, sodium hydrochloride, calcium hypochlorite, alumin- aluminium sulfate, soda ash, sodium bicarbonate, ferric chloride, sodium bisulfate, hydrofluoric acid, sodium hydroxide, various polymer solutions for coagulation and flocculation. So these are some of the chemicals which are used in the in the wastewater treatment. Knowing the hazards of chemical situation, we should be aware. Being aware of type of chemicals, its physical state, whether it will be liquid, solid, or gas. Physiological effect, whether they will caused by toxins, corrosions, asphytics, or corrosives. So we should be aware of the chemical situations by knowing its hazards. Either the chemicals may be in the form of solid, liquid, or gas, and we should note that what are the effects of chemicals we are using. Either it is toxin or cryogenic or it causes corrosive to the body or not. These are hazards. What are the hazards of that chemicals we should know prior only. Typical objectors, typical operator job duties involving in chemicals. First one is lab analysis, setup and maintenance of chemical feed system, transfer of bulk storage chemicals. So typical operator job duties are like because regular where chemicals are regularly used, involving is laboratory analysis is for first one is for laboratory analysis and maintenance of chemical feed system in the chemical where it is produced, and it is bulk storage or transfer of bulk storage. So these operators, whoever is involved in this, they are involving in this chemical duties. Uh, so causes of most opro- operator injuries: failure of the following established safety practices, lack of safety policies. Causes of injuries are only it is because of uh, If you fail to follow established safety practices, then it is causing injuries. And lack of safety policies means if you don't have a safety policies or safety guidelines, then also it is cause for most appropriate operator injuries for the operators. Important workplace safety plans: safety data sheets notebook, emergency response plan, spill prevention plan, operation and maintenance plan, standard operation procedures, and which is SOPs. So important safety plans should be there in the means it is for any of the institute which are working for this, either in the treatment plant or chemical um, where the chemical is dumped. So we should have a proper plan, and we should have emergency response plan, and we should have a plan for even for spillage also. If the chemicals are spill prevention means we have to take care that the chemicals is not spilled anywhere or everywhere. And operation and maintenance also, whenever we handle these chemicals or when during the usage or transportation, we should know how to handle means and the maintenance. And we should have standard procedures, which is SOPs, which has to be um, it should we should follow it. So we should have that. Means we should create a standard procedure is how to handle this in the workplace for the safety of the employees. So, and permissible exposure level PEL. So henceforth we will call PEL. OSHA requires that employees provided a healthy workplace. Permissible exposure levels are used to provide a level of exposure that is not harmful to the employees. Employees means like employees frequently control exposure to half of um, PEL or the lowest achievable levels. And engineering control are primary methods of hazards control. Work procedures are the secondary method of hazards control. So in order to prevent the hazards, so we should have a permissible exposure level. So this is required for the providing the healthy workplace. And permissible exposure is a level which is this much of exposure is not harmful for the employees, especially employees frequently controlling who are working in permissible in the exposure levels, half of the exposure level or to the lowest achievable level. And engineering controls and primary methods of for means we should have a controls, engineering controls, and work procedure and standard methods of hazards control should be there to for in the this PEL. Employee training, the most important component of safety chemical management is that we should. This is the most important component of safety of chemical management. Training must be thorough, frequent, and focused on specific work. Management must support training for providing adequate time by providing adequate time and funding. Supervisors must lead an example. So it is very important for the any employee working who are exposed to this uh, chemical exposure. They should have a common. They should have a proper training. That means this training should be frequently and focused on specific type of or work task. And the management must support training by providing adequate time and funds to give a proper training to the workers. And supervisor must, whoever is in the supervisor or in charge of handling this chemical, should be and lead an example for the workers. And emergency management, prepare for preventing emergencies, especially the fire, spills or releases or injuries. And emergency must be a part of basic work procedure, and the employees must be trained for evacuating, fire brigade, spill response, medical responses. First one is you should be first of all is that emergency management should be there. Prepared means the institution should be or the management should be prepared for basic prevention emergencies like if there is a fire or release of chemicals or if there is a injuries. So certain and there must be a basic work procedure for the employees must be trained how to get evacuated, how to get the fire brigade, how to respond for spill response, and how to get medical responses. So these are the emergency management which should be priorly priorly organized in this chemical institutions or wherever it is used intensively. Incident investigation. All incidents regarding regardless of severity must be investigated and lessons learned used for the prevention. Formal investigation of serious incidents. Accountability at all levels for staff to management. Incident investigation. See, whatever if a smaller, even though if there is a small incident that happen uh, or hazardous incident due to chemical, if even though a small incident happened for the hazardous, it has to be the incident has to be taken it severely, and the lesson should be learned from it and how to get the prevention from it. And formal and serious investigation has to be done, and accountability at all levels from staff to management has to be investigated for this cause of incident. Safety is everyone's responsibility. Okay. Proper and safe chemical management. Part of a facility culture. Part of every employee's activity. Recognition of safety improvement. And safety is everyone's responsibility. So proper and safe chemical management is only possible by if everybody is a part of a facility culture, and if chemical management, if chemical safety management is a part of every employee's activity, and if chemical safety management is recognition for safety improvement, so then only the safety is will be for everyone. Four elements of a workplace safety program: management leadership and employee involvement, work site analysis, hazard prevention and control, safety and health training education. So these are the four important elements of workplace safety program. Means if you in this program, so first one is the management, how we deal with the manage with the chemicals, and proper leadership and employees and each employees involvement. This is the first and foremost criteria. First one, management should take care of the any safety considerations, and we should have a proper leadership. Whoever is a senior or who is in charge, his leadership should be a proper, and employees involvement for the safety is also the major factor for the safety of entire team. So this is the first one. Second one is work site analysis. We have to analyze this the work site. What are the how it is, uh, what are the procedures. So it has to be work site has to be analyzed. Hazard prevention and control, and we should know the primarily before that how to prevent the hazards and how to control it. Safety and health training education. So and if you provide since the safety and health training and education for everyone who are in the work site about the chemicals, then it is also one of the um, one of the elements for work safety program. Animal element one: involvement, management, leadership, and and employee involvement. Employer and employee involvement and communication on workplace safety. and health issues are essential. Most of the companies return safety and health policies for all to see, involve all employees in policy making and safety and health issues. Everyone must take care and active part in safety activities. So in the first element, it is very clearly that employee or employer and employee involvement, that is owner and the workers both involvement and communication on workplace safety and health issues are very essential. So if the owner and the workers they should combinedly involve in workplace safety, um, is a top step. And second one is companies written safety health policies. It has to be seen for all. Has to be say, post for all has to be seen. And all these employees should involve in the making of safety and health issues. Policy in making of policy making of on health and safety issues. And everybody must take actively part in safety activities. So this is the first element. And in the basic principles of good safety management. So management committee it should man basic principles of good safety management is this management it should consist of management committee, documented safety philosophies, safety goals and objectives, committee organization for safety, line responsibility for safety, superlative safety staff, rules and procedures, audits, safety communication, safety training, accident investigation, motivation. So these are the basic principles of good safety management. So these are the basic some of the like it should have a committee and it should have a document and it should have an objectives and goals and it is organization is organization for safety committee organization should be there for safety, right, line responsibility for safety and supportive staff and rules and procedures, and this should be audited. This management has to be audited every yearly or quarterly so that whether the safety management is working for the keeping the workplace safe or not, and safety training and active and any accidents investigations and other motivations. So these are the basic principles of good safety management. Basic safety philosophies. Every incident can be avoided. No job is worth getting hurt for. Every job will be done safely. Incident can be managed. Safety is everybody's responsibility. Safety or best manufacturing manufacturing practices. Safety is best manufacturing practice. Safety standards, procedures, and practice must be developed. And training. Everybody must understand and meet the requirements. Work safety is a condition of employment. So these are the basic philosophies. Like every incident has to be means it is not that every incident can be avoided if we have a work safety procedures, if we management procedures or management, then every incident can be avoided. And there is no job for work getting hurt. There is no job worth getting hurt for. And every job can be done safely. And incidents can be managed. Safety is everybody's responsibility, and they should have a proper training. And safety standards and procedures must be developed. You should keep on developing. Work safety is a condition of should be the condition of employment. We should the whoever we are getting employed, it's working safely is a condition. Uh, Working safely should be the condition of employment. During the employment, working safely, you should be see that whether he can work safely or not. Benefits of zero incident safety policies. Safety standards are communicated to all employees. Responsibilities for implementing standards are understood and accepted. Records documents how standards and best management practices are met. Internal management control, cost avoidance, improved quality, better productivity, team building, unsafe behavior, standouts, unsafe behavior is unaccepted, safe work is influenced through pre-pressure, consistent planning, and task execution. So, benefits of zero incident safety policy. If you have a so in this policy, so uh, if the safety standards are communicated to all the employees, if it is clearly communicated to everyone, and it is to be understood and accepted, mm, responsibility by responsibly, whenever it is implemented, the standards are understood and accepted responsibly. And documents, mm, uh, and records and recording the documents, and internal management control and cost avoiding, and improving the quality and better productivity and team building, and unsafe behavior stands out. See, whoever whose behavior is unfair has to be standard, has to be put out, and unsafe behavior is unacceptable. Mm. And safe work is influenced through pre-pressure. Without even in the pressure also, safe working is influenced. So consistent planning and task execution. So this is the benefits of zero incident safety policy. Key safety practices. Working safely is a condition of an employment. Each employee is expected to give consideration to prevention of injuries to self and co-worker. Involvement and thinking of all people in safety processes is valued and expected. Continual improvement is the goal. Individual and team must be recognized for their adherence and advancement of safety. So, see, these are some of the key safety practices. Like each employee is expected to give consideration in the prevention of injuries to the self and the co-workers, and involvement in thinking all people's everybody's safeties, and continual improvement of the goals, means continual improvements so that they need without any hazard, um, harm is the work is done. And individual and team must be recognized for their adherence and advancement of safety, and so that the team has to be recognized to adhere their safety measures involved in their working site. Element 2, work analysis. Analysis of work condition, identifying and eliminate existing or potential hazards. Outline the procedure for reporting hazards. Perform analysis on a regular and timely basis. Ensure employee understanding. Current hazard analysis for all jobs and procedures. Emergency response planning, plans and procedures. So in this second element, that is a worksite analysis. So we analysis of the workplace conditions. So first the workplace condition has to be analyzed. We have to identify and examine the what means up to what extent is the hazard, uh, uh, elements existing on or potential hazard. Identify the element which we are using, its potential hazard maximum. Outline the present procedure for reporting. Means what is the procedure for reporting procedure hazards? Performing analysis on a regular and timely. This procedure has to be uh, analyzed timely, and this has to be understood by every employer. And current hazards analysis for all jobs and procedures is compulsory. mm, has to be done in the work site analysis. Emergency plan should be there. An emergency response plan and procedures should be there. Focus workplace focus workplace design on all physical aspects of work and environment, size and arrangement of workspace, physical demand of tasks to be performed, design of tools and other device people use. The fundamental goal of workplace design is to improve the people's ability to be productive without error or accidents for extended time period. And proper workplace design improves both safety and productivity. So if you focus on workplace design, so some of the physical aspects of the work environment, size and arrangement of the workspace. Workspace has to be arranged by saying based on its size. Physical physical demands means number of people required of tasks to be performed has to be analyzed. Design of tools and other devices which the workers or people use, and is its fundamental goal is to improve the work people's ability to be productive without error or accidents extending error or accidents for extended time period. And this is for the extended it should be for extended time period. Review of incidents caused. Inspection results to helpful identify trends, practices and employee practices in drill. So every inspection results identifying these trends, and this is it should be a regular practices, or practices has to be reviewed. Employees practices are to be frequently checked, or it is drilled. So third one is hazard prevention and control. Regularly and thoroughly maintained equipment. First one is regularly and thoroughly maintained hazard prevention and control. So how to prevent this? So this is the third element. So ensuring that employees know how to use and maintain personal protective equipment. Training employees in a proper procedure for handling specific situations. Emergency action plans and procedures. Fire, life, safety, and the first aid issues. So first one is uh, first one is PPE, that is personal protective equipment. How you should know how to use, and and training employees in a proper procedure to handle the uh, situation, and he should be um, his emergency action plan and procedure um, aids are first or aids are issued. So these are the regularly and thoroughly maintained equipments. So standard operation procedure SOP, drug-free workplace, recognition and awards, audits and surveillance, incident reporting and investigation, lesson learned, general safety SOPs. So these are the standard procedure, and the workplace should be drug-free, and recognition of the person who is using the proper safety procedure has to be recognized and award, and regularly audits and surveillance has to be done whether they are following the SOPs or not. The incidents reporting and investigation which has to be done, and the lesson learned from the previous mistakes has to be analyzed, and general safety of SOPs. So personal protective equipments are has to be used and maintained. Protect employee from workplace hazard. Employers must protect employees from hazards that can cause injury by injury, falling object, harmful substance, and noise exposure. And use all employee must use all feasible engineering and work practice control to eliminate and reduce the hazard. And use of personal protective equipment if controls don't eliminate the hazard. PP is the last level of control. So protecting employee from the so employees person from the workplace hazard is they should the employees must they should be so that like they should be aware they should be affected from they should aware of falling objects, harmful substance, and noise exposure, and they should have a employees must use all the feasible engineering and work practice control engineering and work practice control to eliminate and reduce the hazards. And PPP use of protective equipments, personal protective equipments, if the controls don't eliminate the hazards. PP is the last level of control. Example of PP: body part protection, eye safety glasses and goggles, face shield, hard hat, SS feet safety shoes, hands and arms gloves, bodies vest, hearing earplugs, and arm muffs. So these are the some of the equipments which are used in PPE. PPE summary: employers must implement a PPE program, assess the workplace for hazards, use engineering and work practice control to eliminate or reduce the hazards before using PPE, select appropriate PPE to protect employee from hazards that cannot be eliminated, inform the employee why the PPE is necessary and when it must be worn, training the employee how to use and care of their PPE, including deterioration, uh, how to recognize deterioration and failures, require employers to wear selected PPE. So, so the employers must implement these PPE programs so that assess the works so that helps the workplace from hazards, and they should know how to use this PPE and for which are the PPE for specific works. Now, fourth one is training and education. Active hazards analysis. Active hazard analysis requires everyone to be proactive in aggressively identifying hazards that can be anticipated and controlled by them, rather than looking back with 2020 hindsight. That means, see, everybody should be proactive in aggressively in identifying the hazards from where the hazards is happening, and that can be anticipated and controlled by rather than looking back with 50 means um, they should identify it in a definitely way, not in that it might be like 2020 hindsight. So chemical reaction, it can be violent, can cause explosions, dissipation of materials, and emission of heat, or acute bodily injuries through direct contact. So chemical reactions, some you should be knowing that they should have that it can be violent. It can be there can be causes for explosion also, or they can when it is in direct contact it can cause us injuries also. Now labor safety: avoid floor cutter, avoid self cutter, avoid dust cutter, use storage container for small and loose items, arrange container based on compatibility, keep your containers in good condition, use edging to prevent containers from falling off, store acid in acid cabinets, store flammables in flammable cabinet, avoid overhead storage, an eye wash unit or emergency shower nearby. So these are the basic labor safety. Additional safeties are uh, like ensure adequate ventilators for chemical storage, chemical preparation area, for violent compounds use a fume hood, chemical use areas, emergency gas stuff of valve, reactable electrical outlets. So we should ensure adequate ventilation for all these areas. And lab safety: label everything clearly, appropriately, containers in a good condition, be neat and ordered, store only what you will use, always wear protective clothes, food allowed in eating areas only, everything in the place on a shelf, time of inventor or organizing, your safety is important. So for this lab safety, we should follow this procedure. We should be neat and order appropriate container in a good condition. Always protective clothes and food only in eatable areas only. Everything in this plates in its place on a shelf. Time to inverter and organize inventor and organize. Your safety is the important. So thank you. So this is the end of session 2 of module 5. In this we have learnt the basic safety uh, hazard management in the wastewater treatment and chemical areas. Thank you.